No role plays, no conference calls, no BS. Chris and Lorenzo share 4 decades of combined experience to help you become a more effective leader. This is Hacking Your Leadership.
Hey everyone, this is Lorenzo, and you're listening to Thoughtful Thursday on Hacking Leadership podcast. On this week's Thoughtful Thursday, I want to talk about an article from an alum of the show, John Eades. He wrote an article titled How to Set and Achieve Impact Goals as a Leader in 2023. Now, this is a newsletter that John puts out on LinkedIn, and I highly suggest checking this out. I'm going to add the link in the episode description so you can click on it, subscribe. But there's amazing content here, and I received this one the other day, and I really enjoyed this content. In the newsletter, John shares that research suggests that writing down your goals gives you an 80% higher chance of achieving them. So it's relatively straightforward that those leaders that set goals outperform those that do not. Now, this seems rather obvious, but I want to clarify. Setting goals includes reviewing what is expected, considering industry influence and team dynamics, and pushing yourself to exceed minimum expectations. Goal setting is not just taking a plan from your direct leader and cascading that information to your team. John explains that an issue arises when leaders only set performance goals and do not consider impact goals. So you may be asking yourself, what's an impact goal? John explains, and I quote, "An impact goal is a clear objective to positively affect others as the desired result. Impact goals relate to the team's positive influence on people or their communities. Setting impact goals is one place where leaders differentiate themselves from managers. For most managers, measuring themselves or their team based on their positive impact on others isn't something they have ever considered doing. Managers measure themselves based on performance alone. Leaders measure themselves based on performance plus impact. Leaders think and act differently. Not only do they set clear performance goals, but they also think about their impact on others." So what's the difference between performance versus impact goals? So according to a graphic from the article, performance goals include improving win ratios, increasing earnings, driving revenue, increasing satisfaction, and reducing errors. While impact goals include changing lives, educating others, advancing careers, increasing mentorship, and improving skills. John wraps up the article by explaining that our impact on other people most inspires us. You work harder, more effectively, and productively when your efforts positively impact someone else. So what I want to share are a couple of thoughts around the impact goals and what they could look like in your day-to-day. But first, I want to give it up to a few words from our sponsors. Okay, so looking at John Eades' article here and looking at the two kinds of goals, performance versus impact, I want to kind of go briefly over some examples of what I believe are good examples of impact goals in our day-to-day lives that we have as leaders. So the first one, it says changing lives. Now that feels really big, like a gigantic umbrella, like changing lives. It could be so many little things and so many big things. When I actually think about changing lives, I think about building confidence and competence with people. I think it's one of the things where if you come to work, you work hard, you do a good job, you get recognition for that, you really start to build confidence and capability around saying, well, if I apply myself, if I get some good direction, some good clarity of expectations, if I get some good coaching, if I get some good feedback, I'm starting to really build this idea that I can take on anything, that I can learn and apply what I've learned, that I can push myself to take smart risks, but I can really start to have this element of confidence that I can now apply to things in my personal life. And so that for me, when I hear changing lives, that's the first thing that pops into my brain, is really helping people to find and establish their voice and have the confidence needed to go out and do the things they want to do in their lives, whether it's, start their own business, follow a hobby, begin a family, buy a car, buy a home, whatever that might be. A lot of those things, if you pull back the layers, you can start to find out that people, when they have confidence and they've got this kind of built-in confidence where they can achieve their goals, they make these decisions a lot more frequently. And they're very clear about wanting to find the success that they want in life. Now, the second thing around educating others, I just feel that's, I don't know, I think it's a part of an expectation of a leader, is really if you're thinking about a goal of educating others, not just did you take the checkbox, training that was required, did you not just learn the thing that was given to us, but truly thinking about helping people to document and consider what they've learned, with your leadership. Now, that could be kind of pointing them in the direction of formal education. That could be having them enroll in either classes or take certifications. But I think more on the day to day around when you're having a conversation with one of your people, or you're having a review or a check in or a touch base or whatever. Are you asking them about things that they've learned? So what have you learned since the last time we sat down? How do you consider that? Do you consider that on the job training? Do you consider that your own learning? Are you recognizing these things? Are you documenting these things? And I think that can be really, really helpful for a lot of people. Now, the third thing around advancing careers, that's pretty kind of cut and dry. Are you not only setting goals around helping to advance careers and promote people, but I look at it this way. Are you considering what they need to be successful in the next role? I think a lot of times I hear leaders talk about how many people that have been promoted, from their teams, how many people that they've kind of moved up. And again, kudos, right? Like don't take my thoughts wrong here. It's not wrong to have people move up in their career. But sometimes I think that we may be a little bit more, maybe too far ahead of ourselves in some of these situations. We're not really thinking about and considering that person having success at the next role. We're just simply thinking about them getting to the next role. And that can be dangerous. We have to really be conscious of that and make sure that we're not setting ourselves up, that we're not, taking the kind of the vanity metric and the ego hit, the ego feeling of like, wow, more and more of my people are getting promoted. That's great and all, but they really have to have success at the next role, or did we really do the right thing for them? Increasing mentorship as a goal. I like this a lot. I think this is something that as a leader, not even thinking about your people, but as a leader in your own goal set, how are you making sure that you create space and time to mentor others that are asking for it? And honestly, there's been times in my career where there's a lot going on. I have a lot of responsibility. Maybe I have a handful of people already that I'm working with, and I've had to be selfish with my time and say no. Somebody said, hey, I think it would be great if you could help to mentor this new person or this new leader. And I would be like, I would love to, but I also know that I don't have that time right now to do that fairly and consistently. And it's not that I don't want to, I just can't do it right now. And those are really, really tough things to do. But my hope and suggestion is get to that point. Do enough mentoring where you have to actually consider, do you have the bandwidth to take on more? And then finally, improving skills. Again, this is another one of those things where I think sometimes organizationally, based upon what industry that you're in, there are things where we think about development when it should be training and vice versa. So when I hear improving skills, I really think about like the training aspect of skill building on somebody becoming more efficient and more effective at the job that they have. And that again, sometimes we just have that by default. We say that that's the goal. The goal is for our people or this group of employees or this team of employees to build skill here or get better here. But what does that actually mean? What are you actually doing as a leader? How are you not only being clear about what skills they're building, but then how are you following up? How are you validating? How are you making sure that these skills are actually having an impact and that they're able to share with you the skill that they've built over time? And I think one of the best ways to really validate skill building is seeing if those same people that have built the skill are capable of now teaching it or mentoring it for somebody else. So again, thank you so much for checking out today's Thoughtful Thursday. The link to John Eades' article will be in the episode notes. Have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you all next time.